Hi there. Today I'd like to introduce you to the basic annotation tools available to you in the Gale student research databases. Now, when would we want to use annotation tools? Well, all of us are working to incorporate more close reading strategies in the classroom in all subject areas, right? And when we're close reading, we often say that we're having kids read with a pencil in hand. But if you have devices in the classroom and you have students looking at reading material through those devices, you can have them do those annotations using digital tools that are built right into the databases. So today we're going to explore in this database research and context, but know that the other database available to you, which is Kid Infobits, has very similar tools. So let's say that you have been working with your students and identified a topic. I love talking to young people about other young people doing awesome things. So I want my kids to learn a little bit about a young lady named Marley Diaz. And I know I won't have a lot of time in class, so what I want to do is identify a reading and push it out to them using Google Classroom. So I'm going to scroll down. It looks like we have 16 magazine articles here that we can check out. And if I go down a little further, we have a news article. CNN Wire. Young reader builds list of 1,000 black girl books. Now, I already know Marley Diaz's story and I love it, but I want my kids to read and to annotate this article about her work curating books for young girls of color. So here's what I can do. First of all, I can go up to Google Classroom and I can push this out to my class. And then if I would like to, I can assign it with some instructions, perhaps telling them to do some close reading, to come up with a question to bring back to class, or maybe I just want to announce, hey, this article's awesome, you should take a look. And then I can select Go. I won't hit that right now for this demonstration, but you can see how that works. Now the annotation tools, you can teach your students how to use these very quickly, and they can utilize them throughout the school year as they're doing this digital reading. So notice that off to the right side we have highlights and notes. It says 0 because I haven't actually annotated yet, but as I'm reading, perhaps you're going to ask students the first time that they read the article to absorb the story and get the gist of it. The second time they read, you're going to give them a very specific purpose. Oftentimes I like to ask them to identify vocabulary that is either academic or perhaps words that they just don't know and they're going to need to look up. So I'll say underline or highlight a new word to you. So the cool thing is that as I highlight with my cursor, I'm given this menu where I can highlight and I can pick a color. So I've taught my students to highlight vocabulary terms that they're learning in the color yellow. So as they're reading, this is a way for them to digitally indicate some new vocabulary for themselves. Also, when we're doing annotation, oftentimes in the third read of my close reading strategy, I will ask students to highlight any passage that they think is a main idea or has an idea that really intrigues them and they want to comment on it. So if we were doing paper and pencil, they might write in the margins. But actually, if I want them to do it digitally, then what I can do is I can go down to the sentence. I can similarly highlight that. I'm going to give it a different color this time. I'm going to say pink goes for this idea that's intriguing. And then I'm going to select notes. And I can immediately begin typing my thoughts. So now students have the ability to not only highlight in different colors relative to the different purposes you might give them in a close reading strategy, they can also make notes. Now you don't see it immediately in front of you, but if you click on that highlighted text, it'll come right back to you. And back up at the top, you can now see that the three things that I have annotated, the highlights and the notes, they're all summarized right here. And finally, if you assign your students to do this and you want them to resubmit it as an assignment, homework assignment perhaps, have them save it to their Google Drive. Notice it says it's been sent to Drive. So if I were to jump over to my Drive there is a folder called Research and Context. And actually, notice that the top here, Quick Access, these are things that I've recently looked at. You'll see that here's the article. It's been saved to my own personal drive. And if I scroll down, you can see the highlights. And at the very bottom, you can see the summary, including the notes. So then all students have to do is to take this document and submit it to you back in Google Classroom. So that's it. That's our brief tutorial on utilizing the annotation tools built in the Gale databases. Don't hesitate to give us a call if there's anything that we can help you with.